Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
I'm back and I'm mad.
Here's Johnny.
Welcome. Hello, Jerry.
Hello. I was shocked there. Shocked.
For what reason?
Whenever she sliced at the back of his hand with a big cook's knife, it didn't turn out his hand was cake. Is that not the whole thing? Every time you see somebody with a massive cook's knife cutting something, it's cake. It's always cake.
Yeah, everything's cake. And
Besides,
I think, to be honest, if that movie had been made more recently, the hand would have been in pieces, not just slightly cut.
Oh yeah, not just slightly cut. Where's your dead zone peasants? Just asking.
Yeah, Jerry has got a big box of stuff.
Right, I've got mine. I haven't, because mine's an even bigger box of stuff, but I've got the one they sent to review. So, double. Winner.
So,
Winner.
Before we start anything, we need to decide on an important issue, or rather two ones.
Sure.
I implemented a sort of Google Doc on my server for people to ask questions, and Crispin did ask a question. What do you want to
was it
guess?
Shakma or Petey Wheatstraw? Shakma!
He's asking, I wanted your guys' opinion on just how much you enjoyed the greatest movie ever made. On a scale from 10 to 10, God. Was it a 10?
Oh, it was at least a 10. I'd go so far as to say it's possibly even 2 thumbs up, more than a 10.
It's going up to 11.
It's going up to 11. If you think a 10 is just a good movie, and then higher than a 10 is, one where they're kicking dirt over hobos and winos who they've pushed into shallow graves just because they're drunks. Fuck those drunks. They scream. It's all good.
So the second...
Shakma!
The second question we need to answer...
Shakma has a ridiculous amount of movie credits, by the way, Crispin. Shakma starred in Shakma. He was also in 2 Duncan Jacks films, which were like really shit James Bond things. And he also played the baboon in The Fly. So that fucker has 4 IMDb credits. He's a fucking baboon. Anyway.
So, do we go with a golden ale, a porter, or an IPA?
Porter.
Porter it is.
Do I have all the Kickstarter blades? No, I think I'm missing one from something, weirdly. And I don't know which one, because I lifted them all out at one stage and was looking through them. And I'm fairly certain there's a sci-fi blade has skipped by me in the past at some point. But otherwise I would have a complete collection. I must get them all out again and see which one. Shakma starred in Shakma. He probably has a real name, but as a baboon, I don't know what his real name. Turns out his name's Troy or something like that. He's from a large baboon acting dynasty. That would be good.
Troy the Third Esquire.
If people haven't seen Shakma, they should, because it's connected to our hobby in many respects, in that it starts off with a group of nerds having a lock-in in a I can't remember if it's a university or science lab. Anyway, wherever they've locked themselves in, it may just be like a big, science lab, and they have a lock-in, not for sexy fun times, like you would often see in films like that, but they have a lock-in to do an RPG. We're going to stay after work. We're going to play an RPG. Going, really? Who the fuck wrote this? I'm so confused. Shakma! Yeah.
Well, there's that.
I've seen something recently that crows have started domesticating wild dogs and also using stone tools. There's a fucking there we go. Once mankind's gone, crows are the next on the ladder,
very possible.
not dolphins or anything else. Imagine one of them coming at you, riding on the back of a dog with some sort of stone stabbing implement in its beak or claw.
Right, my steed.
Show me the meaning of haste. Fucking.
In crow speak, it all makes sense, but some passerby just sees a little pug with a crow on his back going.
Good call. Bang, fuck, I'm dead. Oh, it's almost time for the Halloween movies.
Yes, indeed. That's why I put the little happy incident at the beginning.
That's not a Halloween movie. That's a Christmas movie, is it not?
Yeah, but for some reason the reappearance of a well-known face seemed appropriate for today.
I hope so.
So, what do you have in store for us today?
I don't know. I haven't been paying attention.
Infinity?
May or may not have seen these. But I thought I'd start the bidding with Josh Togo, who had been doing some Infinity Defiance stuff. So they painted up all of the kit for Defiance and started playing some games. But the current entries are actually going back and learning how to play Infinity. Hence, Operation Ice Storm. And also that fucking massive boat.
That looks interesting.
It came up on a weekender a few weeks ago, possibly a couple of months ago. We were looking at it, a big MDF kit. You'll see it better in the bottom pictures because after that, that's primed and filled, getting ready to start to paint it. I think that's actually the ship that they pilot in Defiance. That somebody made.
To be fair, just seeing the prime pictures, I haven't been able to tell that this is an MDF kit, which tells you a lot about the quality of that MDF kit.
Yeah, it's all many angled. It's a good looking thing. No, Steve, it's just me. It's the hair and beard. I get that a lot. But I'm not Christ.
Not yet.
Fuck. If I was Christ, they'd find me floating face down in a fucking swimming pool turned into wine.
Oh, what was the very bad joke going? This is my bread, this is my blood. And then he picks up the mayonnaise. Says, no, I'm going to stop you there.
Judas, I'm just going to stop you right there, Jesus. But yeah, interesting to see what the Stalker will turn into, because I was quite impressed when I seen the MDF kit. The priming, obviously, and then the subsequent fillings going on to hide some of the more noticeable joins. Obviously, Josh Togo, fan of that island, is quite a talented painter, as you can see from like the big monsters from Defiance. And
do you have a guesstimation on how much that bloody thing costs?
I can't remember. I want to say it was about. I don't think it was 100, but it was up near that. You know, it was the high end.
So no
like
cheapy.
No, it's an official. It's licensed, or Corvus Belli have at least given the blessing to go, yes, this is the Stalker from Defiance. So that would sort of push it up again. A rake of inappropriate jokes flash through your head. Go on, you boy, yeah.
Just put them in chat, Genuine. We will read them out loud.
Oh yeah, well, I imagine most of them won't get through past the bot. They'll be like a bunch of dogs and chicken nuggets. They'll just be stopped immediately. But yeah, fascinating to see. Also, I quite like the fact I'm going and playing Infinity. I'm also playing the older version of Infinity that isn't as easy, and I really like it.
Yes.
Which is good, because a lot of people go, oh, the rules look so difficult. I've seen somebody talking, in fact, it may have been actually Justin, talking about how complex the Battletech rules were. Going, you've got to work out your movement, your opponent's movement for targeting, and the range, and and then if there's any cover. And I'm going, but that's what a war game was. For most of my natural life, that was a war game.
And it's not really that complicated. It's
no.
You've got your Excel sheet with everything. You just cross-reference it and say, yeah, this is how many dice I roll, and I need to roll a to hit.
Yeah, it would look great in a billion suns. So what about Jesus? Oh, this one. Oh, allow me to tell this joke since you can't type that one in there. But what's this, Tim?
Somebody dropping the mic?
No, it's Jesus trying to hold on to a Malteser.
Ooh.
It's fucking great because he's going. I can't.
It's like what's the bloody awful commercial called again, where that dude makes holes into things and then slaps glue on it and says fixed all that damage, and somebody made a comic Jesus doing that and slapping his hand on something and then everything just pours through.
Yeah, it's flex tape, I think it is. Good times. Anyway, but yeah, nice to see, and also more Infinity is always good.
Yeah,
It hasn't quite got his pose right for pictures. If you're ever going to be in a picture, this is the correct pose. Just saying, he's come close, but then he kind of rested on it. It's not quite the same.
Yeah, in Infinity, a friend of mine recently showed some terrain that looked oddly familiar and said, I got this for a tenner. And the closer I looked, it was some early kits of Infinity terrain papercraft that has been selling off for dirt cheap.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, those aren't too bad. They're very floppy. A box inside them is better. But you know, they're bright and poppy and will do the job when you're just starting to play. I think the news kits have got more robust.
Possibly, yeah.
Flat pack cardboard terrain in it, but they're not just folding boxes. There's a bit more to them. Although I'm still waiting on whoever's supposed to be sending them to send them, because I asked Carlos for them months ago. I've been saying
This is your friendly reminder of sending stuff to Jerry.
Oh no, it's all right. I've reminded them already. And Carlos going, "Have you not got already?" Going, "Nope." I should let them know.
You sure it's not waiting?
Super fantastic, great.
In the shop?
No, I was up today making sure. That's why I got my copy of Dead Zone. Where's your copy of Dead Zone Peasants?
In the store.
Yeah, it's not there. Not there. Anyway.
Well, next up then is Western Desert Italian by Sir Humphrey, retired or retarded? I can't tell.
It is retired. As much as you would like it to be the other way.
I can't tell. I'm not bloody stupid.
Anyway, look, eye ties. Certainly the flavour of the month, apparently, from companies. Only a week after War Games Atlantic went, we've got Italians coming. Then Warlord Games went, remember those Italians we told you about in 2016? We're finally releasing them. Oh, really? I'm not saying the boat's fucking sailed on that one there, Warlord, but if you told people 5 years ago, over 5 years ago, that you'd made plastics and they've been begging for them every year since, and another company releases them, you know, shit will get off the pot, I think is the phrase on that one. Anyway, but yeah, Italians.
Where's the pizza?
Interesting. You know, clearly one of the guys lying down there with that little booklet, that's what they're going to order from. I've given you the link to the thing. I should have given you the link to the project. Sorry, to apologize. Put that there, for there are more things. But it's nice if anybody's thinking about jumping into the Italian North African front. There's a little painting tutorial along with, you know, a quick and easy way of doing the tropical uniforms. And it'll be interesting to see how they pan out. Doing it for chain of command / bolt action. So.
It may be just simply because I have seen very many Italian soldiers, but they look weird.
Italians, they do. I don't know why. It's probably all the grease. Why'd you never see an Italian with acne? Because all the spots just slide off them. Anyway,
this one on the middle right the helmet reminds me an awful lot of the dust helmet from Lord Helmet.
Yes. Well, it was just a big pith helmet based on probably the Italian, because it had the brim, which obviously the British and I don't think the Belgians or French had that either on their pith helmets. But the big fuck off tropical brim was one to look at.
Yeah, they're not combing the desert.
They're not combing the desert. This is true. I discovered who that was the other day, and it really
the one
shocked
doing
me.
the combing?
Yes, because he's a famous actor about something else from something else, and he must put up a video of him with like a sandbox and then an actual just like afro comb. Because I've been working in movies, TV for decades, yet this is what I'm known for. I'm looking at him going, holy shitballs, that was you. Because I knew him from other TV series, but it's gone out of my head now.
Some roles just stick forever.
Yep.
Just like Harry Potter will always be Harry Potter.
Sure.
And Mark Hamill will always be Luke Skywalker.
Correct, Mundo. That is just how these things go.
And I think people like Harrison Ford, who get to be Indiana Jones and Han Solo, almost can be counted lucky.
I don't know. I'd rather be remembered as Han Solo, considering what they've done to Indiana Jones. Because that wasn't great.
Yeah, potentially. Joker is only
Don't
known...
worry, they're going back and doing it again, aren't they?
Yeah, they're doing another one, a final one potentially. If it goes the way like Star Wars did, Indiana Jones is getting killed just to make sure he doesn't return.
It's a frightening talk.
Well, I'd be hard pressed to think of a script for a movie that would be worse than Crystal Skulls.
That's it. Sorry, it just Tuvok from Voyager is the guy who says we ain't found shit
Oh,
when combing the desert in Spaceballs.
it is. Oh, horror.
My little hamsters in my head were feverishly fucking pedaling there. Anyway, we can get back to this. So yeah, so Sir Humphrey's done quite a nice set of desert Italians, just messing a load of crow's feathers stapled to the side of her head to make them sharpshooters.
Yeah, Toros just mentioned the fascinating fact that in the late 90s, German novels had advertisements put in the pages. So you were reading something like Shadowrun or Battletech, and all of a sudden there would be a weird page in promoting canned soup and stuff like that. And being written into the story for somehow. Technically, you could rip that page out and you could just read the book like it was intended, so you just ignore those. I don't know why they did it. I guess books didn't sell as much.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say advertising is why they did it.
Money?
Sweet, sweet money. Yeah.
All the monies. I've got some in the bedroom. I may take some pictures if I think doing that tomorrow and then post them in the Discord just for shits and giggles.
Giggly shits.
I'm pretty sure it was Battletech, and I'm almost certain in some Shadowrun as well.
I could live with a female character as long as Shia LaBeouf is not connected in any way, shape, or form, Crispin.
He dies a tragic death.
He was bad. I can't even work out what way they're doing it, because it looked like he was fighting Nazis again. I'm so confused as to what's happening with that timeline.
Maybe
I think we all agree Crystal Skull didn't exist. I think that's how it goes.
Maybe they do a crossover between Iron Sky and Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Moon-based Nazis. And
Moon-based Nazis. Nazis on the moon. They turn me white. I mean, that's one of the all-time best lines. It ranks up there with President John F. Kennedy going, the CIA and FBI dyed me this color to hide me. I've got nothing up there. My brain's in a jar. I'm thinking with sand. Another excellent one. Black JFK and Bubba Hotep.
Oh, yeah. I remember that movie.
Bubba Hotep was amazing. If only they'd not fucked around and we would have got Bubba Nosferatu, which was the talked about sequel at the time. And then that came to nothing. Can't remember anything.
I really like the Elvis Presley impersonation.
Oh, Bruce is fantastic as Elvis. In fact, he's fantastic as an Elvis impersonator, impersonating Elvis and then swapping places with Elvis, leaving Elvis to live out the life of the Elvis impersonator.
Which is a actual genius thought, if you come to think of it.
But why not?
Yeah, if you want to retire and not make a fuss about it, why not take somebody who can pick your place?
That's why I did.
So, next up then, Spring Cleaning Old Hammer.
Yes.
A reoccurring guest on the
Horace.
show by Horace 500.
Hmm.
One new entry.
Is it?
Yes.
See, this is what happens when I'm not around.
Last time we visited was sometime after August.
Yeah, it was after August, but I couldn't be entirely certain because I didn't think we'd talked about the Mordheim figures, which are from the Warhammer comic. But
We did.
that's
All
all right.
briefly.
Had you been drinking? That kind of makes sense. Anyway,
Yeah, so these...
interesting bunch of orcs, particularly the front left.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, the front left isn't one that fits the ranks really, because the ones on the right, I recognize those are from the 6th edition box that I'm having literally sitting on my bench here.
The body is still the same.
But the head...
The head comes from the GW Warhammer Regiment box from the very
Dawn of time?
late 80s / early 90s, where you got Orc and Goblin and Skaven and Wood Elf and Dwarf and Dark Elf. It was an amazing box. A box that was, you got 60 miniatures, 10 of each, and everybody got 2 heads. And that's where that head comes from, which is why I love that to bits. Because by fuck, where did he find that kicking around? I used to have some of the dwarves still, but then I sent them to a friend in one of the Scandi Norwich.
Yeah, I was a bit shocked. James posted a link yesterday for a still sealed 6th edition Warhammer Fantasy Battle box. £200.
Wow. It's probably cheaper than buying the components from GW loose these days, then, to be fair.
I don't think some of those are still available from GW, but...
Oh, there you go then. Oh, on the not available from GW note, a few people have been continuing. We're talking about the Aeronautica Imperialis, whatever the fuck it is, and Justin was saying about such and such a model. I'm going, oh no, the Falcon and the Viper are still the fucking original ones. A couple of people messaged me on the YouTubes going, as are most of the Phoenix Lords. I'm going, really? I was like, and then going, Jane Zar got a new plastic model like a couple of years ago in a kit or something. I went, oh fuck, I hadn't even realized that she'd got an upgrade. But it's like, yeah, the Phoenix Lords. And then somebody else went, what about the Warp Spiders? You're going, oh, you're right. The Warp Spiders, they were all in the 95 annual. So they're all at the very least 1995. Some of them may even be creeping back into like 92, 93, 94. Because I went and had a wee look. I can't find any of my older annuals. I was like, Christ, the Elder range really is bastard red-headed stepchild of GW. What if they start calling their aspect armor powered armor instead? Maybe somebody at GW will fucking upgrade them. Christ on a bike.
Primaris Eldar.
Yeah, why not? Fuck at this stage. Everybody was banging on about how long orcs have had the same shitty old models. And it's like, in the meantime, Eldar players are currently just weeping their tears in their fucking vial.
Yeah, and to be fair, Orcs had plenty of third-party suppliers making great models.
Oh, don't worry about that. As I pointed out, there's Artel done some stunning warp spiders, including like having the bubble that they come through sort of manifested around them in places, all in resin. They're fucking gorgeous figures. Speaking of which, they sent me some of their new fantasy stuff. Where's your Artel fantasy stuff, peasants? This is the Heroes of Cunning. Oh,
Are
it's
they
fucking
cunning
gorgeous.
or sneaky?
Oh. Oh, man. Oh, if only you could see that. Oh, sweet. Oh, yeah, you know.
The
Not
box
for
is
the likes
empty.
of Not for the likes of you. Be doing an unboxing on those at some point. I may actually be talking to them. I don't know. I've been waiting for them for fucking ever. They went, oh, send you this. Going, yes, do. And then out of nowhere, they went, we're sending you these things now. By the way, I really liked your hydrophilia unboxing videos. Really like the technique where you use the little bit of scotch tape to glue the tiny fucking lap book together. And I'm going, you like that? Oh, cool, thanks. I'd forgot you existed, Artel. It had been so long.
Next up then is Ugleb.
Yes. You have one of the Artel Fantasy. Well, now I have many. I think I've got 4 boxes from them, plus a 5th box that just says options, which contained an Irish Wolfhound because I opened it and went, ooh. So I'm not sure what it is, what's going on there.
Was it barking up the tree?
Could have been doing that. Certainly.
So Ugleb is doing Fallout.
Doing Fallout. Bit of terrain actually, and I do like my terrain, so I thought, why not?
Ooh, that looks interesting. Even though it's getting me.
No, whenever you click on it, it should go the right way around, and then that way you don't have to stretch your neck. Although anybody sitting in front of the computer
the exercise
should do that.
is very good.
Yep. It has been making some toxic goo pits, which are always good. They're not toxic goo pits; they are boxes.
Although those will look nice.
But yeah, the derelict mansion.
It looks like the mansion that's on the cover from Fantasy Flight's Mansion of Madness.
Fuck Mansion Madness. That. Hang on a minute, I just need to move my Dead Zone 3rd edition peasants. Come to me 2nd edition, you whore. You know, it's not far away from that, and there's a reason it's not far away from that. It's because it's from the Marshport series from Sarissa, which, you know, isn't their mythos-inspired Fishman village at all in any way, shape, or form, although it really is. I should put that back rather than let that fall, or leave it on the floor. Oh, no! Stay. Winner.
Don't sneeze.
But I knocked over resin there.
Evening,
Goran.
Goran.
Spilled on the ground.
Yeah, this looks interesting.
Yep. Well, Scooby-Doo, as we know, was all heavily inspired by Cthulhu, showing us the real monster was humans all along, and fish people.
One of the recent releases from Modifius, the Securitrons. Was it Securitrons? The one-wheel big things with 2 arms. Can't remember the names.
Thinking of Launchpad McQuack's alter ego as RoboDuck?
Yeah, something. They look like that, and
Do they? That's amazing.
The thing I really liked about what Modifius did is the faces on the TV that is embedded is actually a raised area, so you don't need a transfer. You just do a slight edge highlight, and you've got the face on it, which is brilliant.
Very clever.
Which I like. I very much like that idea. Maybe some other companies can do that, please?
Some other companies have.
Oh,
depends on the company, I suppose. But yeah, I really like. I like also the fact that a glug has gone full Scooby-Doo, where there's certain green and red notes on the boards, or the planks, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, for that house. And having that, it has that almost cartoonish feel, but it breaks up the big flat panels.
Yeah.
You know, it looks unusual and worn in weird ways. And it is one, you know, super green highlighted banshee away from an episode of Scooby-Doo.
Or maybe just a small ball of tissue paper in the window as a ghost.
Yeah, that type of thing. Whatever works. But I do like it. I may steal that at some point. Because I would never, if I was sitting down to do my own stuff, at no point would I ever just go, you know how I'm painting this? Greens, blues, reds, and
All the
some
colours.
form of beige. You went, really? That's how you're going to paint wood? Really? But it looks absolutely spot on.
Yeah, and given that it's been in a nuclear blast, it could have any color.
Yeah, I'm still not thinking about that for Fallout. I'm thinking about it for a real game.
Did I just miss something important? Because in miniature... Oh yes, see. Legion. Just hiding in the top there. I didn't see that at first because the miniature Skype window was distracting. Legion.
There it was.
And a
Cry of Legion in the darkness.
And a 3D printed car from Modifius that has been used with a bit of spackle to hide
Maybe
the
trying to
print
fill in
lines.
all the bits. Yeah. Has it been spackled, or is that just how the car comes?
No, that's a 3D print. Modifius
No,
sells
I
the
mean,
SL.
is that weird whitening? Because it doesn't look.
That's spackle on there.
Yeah, it doesn't look any less rigid. Ridge-lined.
Maybe that's just how we see it, and when it's primed, it'll look different. Maybe we will see.
Break out the sandpaper. That's the way to go.
Sand
Yeah,
down.
Gorham. I think the colours are just really nice.
So, what's next?
Next is, and I hope you've got drinks on standby.
Oops.
Easy for you to say. This is the Early Republic Rome and Contrast Paints A Journey, Saga Hannibal, Ashes Fears, and Mortal Gods, Greek/Athenian/Spartans. Lots of stuff. Ignore the bold lines. Close brackets.
So he knew you would be looking at this.
To be fair, I'd been commenting on this for a while, and then eventually I went, this is still private, bugger off. I'm the only one who can see this, which is why nobody else is commenting. At which point I was like, really? Fuck. Was, I think, pretty much what he said.
Puckling sounds very fitting.
So I imagine we have been here at some point in the past, doing a bit of work on infantry and some cavalry. He's also managed to find somewhere that sells Master Series paints from Reaper for his skin tones, which is quite nice.
Are they hard to get?
I've never seen them. There may be places out there that, well, I think Reaper actually has a UK stockist now, an actual official, you can go to Reaper's website and order from the UK. So probably easier now than they had been in the past. Not that it matters. I'm sticking with Vallejo. I've got a fuckload. And that tan shadow and tan skin and tanned highlight is no different than cork brown, rose beige, and sunny highlight. So I have them.
So where are these mode lines we are to ignore? Oh, now I can see it. There it is.
Right, only that one, really? You
No,
should take a
that's
look at the very first picture. The Stati and Velites. Oh, yeah, there's one. Yeah, boo, sucks to you. I remember somebody bought them recently, but I couldn't remember who. It was whenever you were getting the Time Bandidos. Subly Demon. But anyway, getting back to the topic at hand, contrast for horses, jumpers for goalposts, and a lot of bolt gun and contrast snakebite to try and get these guys up and going. I need to, I suppose, criticize heavily Lena and him. There's an awful lot of steel helmets going about for cavalry and Celtic types. You really need some bronze helms.
Not correct?
Not so much. Certainly not for the Celts. But it's a nice little topic. I quite like the way it's coming together as well. You could, Jesus, that I double tapped a picture there, it became fucking enormous.
That's a sparkly gold armor. Oh God!
Oh yeah. Well, that's that's all the hallmarks of a GW paint, with metallic flakes in it so big that you can see them from space.
Don't point a laser at this one.
Oh, do look up close. We can get away with that. Fire a chestnut ink wash over that, and that'll pull that right back.
Maybe he's a vampire.
No, no, nope. It's not how that works. Not how that works.
Speaking of contrasty paints, did you see that Army Painter made a very vague announcement about some new paints that will change your way you paint? And in the background, the very bready, slobby paint job on whatever that it is they paint.
Yeah, I've seen that. And you know what I really hope when it finally comes out? It's just their tones again. Because I can't imagine it being any different. I can't see what they're going to put in to change their tones from being any less tone-like. They already do that. They already settle
Contrast.
in the recesses. So, but because people asked them whenever Contrast came out, I remember seeing on their face page somebody going, "Are you going to release Contrasts?" And then we already have. They're called tones. We did them years ago.
Yeah,
people go, "Oh no, they're not. They're not the same." You go, "They fucking are the same."
It's just like with the paint sets they did for Legion. It's all the same colors they already sell, but
it's But then people.
It's not even just hobby tags. It's hobby plus stupid tags.
Yeah, I think it's very much that, because people look at it and go, but Games Workshop have Contrast. Go, yeah, but we've had tones for years. Going, but Contrast. Go,
yeah, or
no,
like I heard in
no.
a German podcast today, the new thing that is oil painting, and the other host went, yeah, let's just ignore the last 300 years people were using oils to paint.
Yeah. The new thing that is acrylic painting, I'd give them that, because I think I'm older than acrylic paints. You definitely are, but I'm fairly certain I am.
I couldn't tell. I wouldn't know when they started using acrylic paints.
Acrylics are so fucking new. It's not funny, which is why most people, their first sort of airfixy airplane models and tanks as kids were made and then painted with enamels badly, and then everything went in bin. That's how fucking new acrylics are.
And I never even knew that you could potentially thin down enamel paints, so you just took them out of the pot and slapped them on.
Oh yeah, no. At no point did anybody explain that they needed a thinner to clean your brushes and wash them and say no. It's just the brush went in the bin when you were finished because it was.
You needed thinner something to clean your brush. That was the first lesson you learned after painting the first model.
Oh yeah, no. The quick shade from the tins are polyurethane based and are much better for getting that contrast and the highlight. They will, because they shrink as they dry and cure, so you get a much better tone overall. I mean, the dropper stuff is really, it's nice, it's a decent wash, but it does not do the same job that the quick shade stuff in the pots do. Also, when you're finished, you can bounce rocks off them. They're fucking brutally tough.
You could hit someone with it.
Oh yeah, well, very much so. I could drop an iron on one and it wouldn't take the paint off it. It's robust after that. You never fear for your paint job again.
So before anybody starts panicking, my glass is empty. Is it
no.
IPA time, or is it, what was the other one? Golden Ale.
Oh, well, Golden Ale sounds good. Where are they from? Who are they done by?
Sadly, those an article that's been made for Aldi. Was some very...
Right. You say sadly, we have Aldi's in the Republic.
Yeah, but it's just made for a very short time, so you're probably not getting them. Those were made
like that, is it?
by Reap Banan, which is
Rip Banana.
No, Reap Banan, which is a company in Hamburg on the Reeperbahn.
Nice.
Brewed and bottled in Mönchengladbach. Or
where the football team comes from. Cool.
One of those, yeah. I had these before. These are sadly very good, so it's a horrible shame that they're just being available for a very short time, so making the best of it.
It's the way to do it. Here's the way to do it. I have that, by the way, while we're on the subject of dip. Humbrol Enamel Gloss Varnish. It is essentially the polyurethane varnish, but without the tint in it. At some point, everything was shut whenever I got it, so I'm going to head down at some point to like a hardware store and pick myself up some various polyurethane gloss varnishes to see, because the tints are all well and good if you're looking to paint that way, but if you're just painting a model but you want the robust protection, that's it in a can, but it's very expensive because hobby tax.
And Humbrol even more.
Well, if any other fucker had done an enamel polyurethane, I would have got it. But I tried to get my hands on some yacht varnish, but they wouldn't send it to Nairn because Amazon were being dicks about things. It's a very small tin. It is 125 mil, which is half the size of the Army Painter dips, because they're 250s, I think. None of them are facing me. Actually, they're all facing me, which means I can't see the volume on the side. Oh, yeah, fucking hurry. No. No, I have no idea what size that is. Fuck you, making me pick things up.
I think 200.
250. So yeah, so it is literally half the size.
What, double the price?
No, I paid, I want to say it was £10 for that enamel one. And those come in about 12 quid for me, the quick shades. So wasn't quite double the price, but it was right up there. However, I think they've stopped making that Humbrol, which is one of the reasons why it was more expensive than it should have been, because nobody does it anymore. Bastards.
Terrible people.
I will find. I'll find some fucker. The problem is a lot of the wood varnishes and things like that have tints in them, and I just want just the clear polyurethane. In which case, you're generally looking at yachts for that.
Throat wobbler mangrove.
It's pronounced luxury yacht, you idiot. Anyway.
Next project then is a very slow League of Infamy again.
See, because again, I don't know if you were here.
No, we weren't. Oh, no, I wasn't here recently.
That's okay then, because there's been a fuckload since we've last been here. Fear not, mein Liebchen. So we've been working on a whole host of things, from spearmen to draken handlers to archers to Foxy Studi Stouts. That's a lie. There are no Foxy Studi Stouts.
Oh, no foxes. Oh.
Well, you know. But if you get far enough down to find the tree men, you'll get a surprise.
Is it the kind of surprise you don't want to find?
Oh, no. You'd appreciate it being who you are.
Dryads.
What you do.
Dryads remind me an awful lot of Skyrim I've been playing lately again.
Sure. That could be a thing. Look at them having a little conflab.
Oh, that's an ancient paint pot.
There we go.
If I've seen any. Oh.
That's why we're here.
Citadel Ink Wog Green.
We're only here for the expert paint set inks. In fact, that's not even an expert paint set. That's after that.
I didn't know that they made inks that long ago.
Oh, yeah. But they were proper inks. They were literally just artists' inks in a GW pot. It was called the Expert Paint Set was the first time they did them, and they didn't have stupid names. It just said like red ink, yellow ink, chestnut ink. Then they started naming them silly things. Yes, Goram. It's really fun because you're working cooperatively to a point, and then you want to get out with all the rewards and nobble your mates. So there's this. If you go in and immediately shoot your friend in the back of the head, well, you can't actually, but if you go in and immediately trip them up and push them into a room full of baby dracons, then you're probably not going to complete the mission. So there's like a balancing point, a fine line where you're going, I need you all together to complete the mission. It's like the usual suspects. Verbal Kent knows he needs all of the suspects to get on board that boat and kill the grass who could identify him. And then he needs to kill the suspects. But if he kills them too soon, he's not going to get on the boat and complete his objective. That's a great way of thinking about it. I spend my time being Keaton. Anyway, make as much noise as possible. Oh, yeah, very much so. I don't know. I don't see why it wouldn't. Steve. I'll have a play around. Theoretically, any of the acrylic inks in it should do the job. You're just a case of mixing it thoroughly through. But his slow grow League of Infamy set, we've seen the kitty cats, I think, last time we were here.
Mm-hmm.
Now the elves. I quite like the way he's gone with the sort of wood tones. A lot of leather going on for the elves. They're more subtle than the box art where they're very green. A lot of green going on with them.
So I'm guessing these are not freehands, but stamps?
I think he's followed some devilishly handsome man with a beard who suggested getting your hands on a nail polish stamp and stamping things like this on.
It looks familiar, yeah. It's funnily enough, ever since you showed that technique, I try to find other people using that, and nobody seems to use it for whatever reason.
Weird, isn't it? I remember seeing Lena's nails for the first time and going, "How the fuck did you do that?" She's going stamp, and I immediately went, "She's on a model."
Gip stamp.
What? No, I wouldn't. You need it, to not dry, and acrylics dry too quickly. And I'm going, but I could use oils or a retarder. Oh, this could work.
Yeah.
I can't be the only one who's thought of it, to be brutally honest. I'm not that clever. There must be other people out there. They just won't admit it, because if people look at them and go, "Oh, is that all?
I think
that's not a transfer. Is that freehand on those shields?"
I think
it's definitely freehand on
this
that
is
shield.
one of the weird edge cases where you need to have a person in your life that is using these stamps as they were intended for nails. And if you don't have a wife, girlfriend, or other half that does such things, you'll never see them.
I had no idea such a thing existed. But what I will say is, that's much better than any of the stamps I attempted to do when I was trying to show people how you could do the stampy things. Actually, that's not true. I've done one on the side of a VW Volkswagen minibus thing for Infinity, which came out really nicely. But that's great. I love that. I'd say I'd steal that idea, except I think he stole it from me.
Well, then take it back.
I'm taking it back, like a porch monkey. Taking it back.
Take it all, give nothing back.
But yeah,
Orinoco.
it's quite nice.
It's very. Did he tell if he does it?
He does it halfway down. It says it's done via the medium of.
He's actually quoting you. Yeah.
Yeah, and later on he does he's made his own washes as well using my wash thing. Going, here's how you make washes of any color you fucking want. So he's made himself a paint grey wash, which is a really nice blue grey color, Payne's grey. And I'm shocked that nobody doesn't wash that color, but yeah.
And to be fair, these look way better than anything I could freehand. And if you don't look up that closely, but you go more like, let's see. Oh, wait, doesn't it go even smaller?
Ah, Jesus!
It doesn't go smaller for some reason.
It doesn't hit you. That's the right size for me, because that's about the size of him. I'd have to go next door to get a miniature to find it. Hang on a minute. Let me hold an enforcer up there. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, they're fine.
It looks better than anything you'd see on a mass army, I'd say. And that's the thing. This is a result that's easily replicable on large amounts of miniatures. And you're not driving yourself insane doing the same pattern over and over again.
Not driving yourself insane, or if you want to put on transfers. The problem is transfers are quite pricey after a while. So if every 20-man unit is going to cost you another, well, what's a set of things, like 350s for 12, so another £7 per unit for the transfers. It all stacks up after a while if you're playing big games. But for something like this, I think it's ideal. It's just finding one of those little stampy things and going for it. And there's so many of them out there. Jesus, are there fucking incredible amounts of them.
Maybe I should invoke the power of being dad to a daughter and give my wife a subtle hint that we might want to get one of these things to...
Neil Stampies.
Just the interesting stuff.
Have you got anything you want to say to his dad? No. You sure? Package arrived for you, opened it.
So the next interesting project for the day,
Yes.
Retreat from Moscow. Scripps is doing
Scribs
historicals.
is doing historicals, specifically the retreat from Moscow.
But which retreat? The German? The
No.
French?
Napoleon attacked and then got winkered.
As many have, because nobody...
General Winter arrived, and
It's funny, like at some point in history, people might have noticed that winter is a very harsh environment in Russia, and you don't go there on holiday.
certainly was that year. Massively so. And once again, the Russians did their usual, which is as they retreat towards Moscow, they burnt everything. And then they burnt Moscow, actually, and then fucked off. Oh, hey, enjoy our fucking gutted city, you turds. And then buggered off again. But up until now, he has been working on essentially realistic miniatures. So we'd seen bits and pieces based on the artwork. But this one is a set of zombies that he's cobbled together from some Perry, I think, plastics, plus some Warlord World War II German, I say Warlords sell them, but I think they were Studio Miniatures did them originally. But anyway, plastic World War II zombies, and then some Viking bits and all sorts to make them, because he could then use them for Silver Bayonet. Now, he does say he's not sure if there are zombies in Silver Bayonet. Let me just check. Where's your Silver Bayonet, peasants?
What is Silver Bayonet for?
It's a new game by Joseph McCullough, so Frostgrave, Rangers of Shadow Deep, Stargrave, that sort of thing, except it's Napoleonic Wars and werewolves and vampires and things like that. We go there.
But I guess then there will be some form of undead.
Ah, well, you can guess. I'll just have a look. Oh, bandits. Well, they're not zombies. Black Dog is not a zombie. Cultists aren't zombies. Ghosts aren't zombies. Ghouls aren't zombies, although they're close. Living scarecrows aren't zombies. Revenants. Oh. Revenants are zombies. Vampires. And werewolves. So there you go. So there are revenants in there. So you can get close. But that's just in the monster section. Let's have a look at creating a unit. Because different nations have different things. You can have a Dampier if you're Austrian. Fucking Austrians coming over here, bringing their vampires. You don't have enough vampires? You can't. Supernatural investigator for the French. No, I don't think so. Dug. Russia. Russians can bring a werebear with them.
Oh, that's
Somebody
nice.
should tell the Russians to fucking wind their necks in. Well, so anyway.
Even if there's no official zombie list, I think they'll make an interesting...
No, I mean, revenants are in there, so you've got your undead friends coming back, smacking you upside of the head. It's a really nice set as well, and because of the way he's done this specifically as the French retreating from Moscow, where everything went fucking sideways, having a bunch of your dead mates as well. So it's not even a different army, all wombied up, coming at you like Cleopatra. It is just your dead friends. You left them last night because you didn't think that they would survive the cold, and hey presto, they didn't. But now they've come back. You're making camp, and all of a sudden you think, is that Francois? Mon ami.
Why does it smell like cheese all of a sudden?
Anyway, really nice. Both
I
paint
like
job, but also the color palette, because he's trying to match those Napoleonic
uniforms.
pieces of artwork from. Well, not the uniforms, but the artwork from the start, where he's got some of Faber's prints, and that's what he's based his color palette and even the basing. So specifically the gray and white for the snow comes from those art prints. He's not trying to do a realistic snow effect.
I like the fact that on the first glance, you wouldn't see them as zombies. Only if you
No,
look
and that's
closer.
how they get close enough to you.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's, "Roar."
Oh
You're
look,
fucked.
they found us. We're saved. And all of a sudden, somebody is munching on your head. Brains. Brains.
Stunning stuff from Scribs. I should make him paint something for me because I'm too lazy. I was actually looking the other day to order some French because I've got British Napoleonics that I can use for Silver Bayonet. And I was going, I could order some of the stuff from Avonpost. And I go, oh, but I could get Front Rank. And now I'm going, should I buy Front Rank before Front Rank closes their doors forever? You know, I can always go back to Avonpost later. Anyway, shall we take to the open seas?
Press on. Tally ho.
Lead on, McFad. Calpe. Oh, Calpe could be a...
Noyadat is still doing Man of War.
He is.
And he's doing terrain.
Did Gripping Beast buy Front Rank? I hadn't heard any news that anybody had actually bought them yet. So that's good news. At least they're going to continue.
Small islands for...
Yeah. So he's been working on his elves for Man Over the War. And he has... I mean, most people just go and get a rock from the garden. But he's 3D printed some islands. I quite like the fact that he's based them and painted them and done all the shittery on a piece of acetate. So presumably he can peel that away and be left with a nice, perfect base for his islands in the sun.
Yeah, that does look interesting with all the speckle and the sand and the glues.
Yeah. Yeah, because once you've got your mounds of unusual shape together.
Is that a... that's not a pane, that's...
No, it is. That's a pot of Vallejo's, I think it's mud. It's behind me anyway. It's one of their effects.
You sure? Looks like more like pigment.
I'm not
Because-
going to say I'm sure, but what I will say is...
Because if you look at his workbench, it looks very much like he went AWOL on pigments.
It's the fact it's clinging to the top. So...
AK-041, it reads
Oh, there you
on
go.
the tin.
So, I mean, it might be a liquid pigment rather than one of these, but I think it's more like that, one of the weathering effects.
Well, we could go the easy route and see if he's writing something on the text.
Oh, if you scroll up, I can read that label. Well, you've gone away now. I'll just go back and check it myself.
Pigment powder to give sandy texture and sealing process with drops of thinners.
Oh, there you go then.
So I was right. It's
You were
pigment
right.
powder. Go me!
Go team. It's very sticky compared to I use the Vallejo pigments and they don't stick to the inside as much as those AK ones. But nice nonetheless.
Yeah, it does. Though it's an awful messy job using pigments. Sometimes, at least.
Could be on the website, Panzer, but I haven't been on Front Rank since they announced that they were growing because I have nothing to buy. Oh, that'd be good. But if they were going to do the arms, they'd also have to do their heads to make them massive, like pumpkins.
Yes, Gorham, we read texts in a project occasionally because we are cheeky little bastards.
Sometimes
why
more than
wouldn't we?
others.
Also,
Hey, fuck you.
you need more foamy in your life. Praise foamy. All hail the squirrel.
That's one way of doing it.
So, where's my browser? There's my browser.
I have no idea. I don't know what you're doing anymore.
Oh, neither
I'm
do
very,
I.
very confused. Anyway, so yeah, Noja Tat has got his islands on the go. He's even played some games, the mad bastard. He'll never catch on.
Playing games. Weird concept. Well, the next project, I'm guessing, will be even more infinity.
That's only because I've already given you the list and you can see it.
Yes.
But then you're not guessing, are you?
I'm a cheater. What do you expect?
I don't know. Tony Sylvie has been doing Code 1. This is the box set I should have been sent to have a look at Code 1. If whoever knew the fuck they were doing could actually post a parcel. But anyway, I digress. Ignore the unusual basing. It's 3D print. Everybody's 3D printing these days.
No, not me.
Does nobody create bases anymore?
Not me either.
So confused.
I get why you would print greebly bits and things you don't get as a model, but looking at the basing, I don't think there's a need to print those. I would,
Hexes?
yeah, I would guess there's
you've got
somewhere a
hexes.
roller that does that.
Oh yeah, I've got 3 of them in there at the moment actually, because I dug them out for Dead Zone the other day.
And does any one of those do hexes?
All 3 of those do hexes. Those are specifically my 3 hex rulers
Oh, okay.
in various sizes. Not to be confused by other rulers. But you know, think of the fun you have. I mean, look at the fun Warren had with his Path of Conquest, which consisted of printing cobblestones for his bases. Didn't actually get around to assembling any models or putting them on those bases, but spent a lot of time. Spent a lot of time sorting those base toppers out. I mean, once you've got those bases, you're good to go, really.
And Warren still hasn't replied to my nagging about him rebasing Chaos Warrior. So
I imagine at some point they're going to actually connect up the internet line to his house, and at that point he's just going to get flooded by a million fucking spam comments from people who just be like, can BT switch this off again?
can somebody use an axe and just shut it down?
But Tony's been doing sterling work in painting up the Adriana.
It's for all the shit we give him for using 3D printed base toppings. The paint job looks very nice.
Oh yeah, he's a talented little fella. I imagine he's little. I'm
Possibly
fairly safe on that one.
Yeah, I'm guessing
to be.
if you are going to say somebody is little, that's a very safe bet, even
Yeah, you know.
going by European standards.
It's the way to do it.
Really
It'll be fascinating to see what else comes down the line. I'm trying to remember what else is in the Crimson box set. It might be Nomads.
I mean, I have to give him the base toppers look good. I still wouldn't have made them get 3D printing.
But once you've spent a few £100 on a 3D printer, you'll find things to print to justify having the 3D printer, I assume.
To be fair,
it was like when I bought that ball shaving razor. At that point, you may as well keep them fucking waxy clean, because otherwise there's no justification in having spent the money on it.
And to be fair, and with various small plastic bits breaking in the kitchen, there would be a use for a 3D printer in that regard, but I'm not going to buy one just for having to replace a little screw that's been missing from the dishwasher.
Sure.
Other people
Every time
might
I look
do
at
it.
the floor there, I keep thinking it looks like a tablecloth. There's just a line in the design of the floor that they're standing on that looks like a crease to me, and I can't not see a crease.
Which picture are you referring to?
See the rock hot picture of the 3 of them. The next one down. See rock hot. No, the whole project's that's Adriana Progress. It's rock hot.
This line on the bottom.
Yeah, I can't not see a crease there, like a tablecloth that's been wrinkled. And I know that's not what it is. And
Yeah, especially since next in a 90-degree angle there is a crease in the map.
Yes, which doesn't help. Doesn't help my head at all.
Yeah, I can see why that would make heads spin at
Yeah, it's making
points.
my head spin, but you know, neither
Spinning
here nor
like
there.
a record round. Yeah, not starting to sing now.
Please don't. Anyway, it'd be interesting to see the rest of the stuff, and also at what point Soap Dodger appears and goes, but he hasn't built a custom Code Red Crimson Storm one backdrop for it. When you take pictures in front of some fucking cardboard train all you want, but really, are you doing it right?
Also, no brain meta beige.
He's harsh like that. There's no brain matter beige, but to be fair, there's no Haley boy either, so don't know what's going on there.
So,
Should we
We
take a look at Zeb Raout Rider?
if that's his project, I don't know. This is a
That's just the
project
that's just
picture
that's the cover picture for the project. Yeah,
that
if you
has
scroll
me
down.
in total awe.
It's good, isn't it? This is his blog attempting to reduce his own pillar of pride, totaling hundreds of miniatures.
Pile
Wow.
of opportunity.
Hundreds of miniatures from various people doing various things for various things. The 50th miniature is the scribe from Dunkeldorf, and it's not just a scribe. I wonder if the Danes have seen this. I imagine if they haven't, Lena, who's now watching this tomorrow when she should be working. Hi, Lena. We'll probably pass it across to them. But the scribe has got a desk stuffed filled with crap.
Yeah, that is a very busy plinth.
I have to say, it's a little neater than what I currently have beside me, and I tidied to get it down to this. But I really like, you've got the couple of dogs sitting around the desk while he's trying to do his work, and then the cat, and I'm kind of gutted. He did say that he was going to paint the cat as Bagpuss, but went for Ginger Tom instead. It's like, no! He was a sad old cloth cat, but Emily loved him. She loved him. Bagpuss, Bagpuss, poor little cat puss. Wake up and see these things that I bring. Anyway.
I love the amount of detail he's put on the desk.
There's a shocking amount of detail on there, from books
detective
to pages.
stories and
Yep. Again, the desk and chair came from Dungeon Accessories from Mantic, from their train crate, which was handy because the Dunkeldorf, they do a few seated figures and they have like benches and stuff you can put them on, but they are just floating midair. They're seated, so if you can find another desk and chair that does the job, they'll go anywhere. So actually getting a more scribe-like desk for them was a great way of doing it. And then just starting to dig out things. So there's a little chest on the desk, comes from an old Bretonian plastic sprue. So he's got his own little writing. Maybe he's got his writing nibs in there, or maybe he keeps his inks in there or something. But you work it out yourself.
It's his gold coin.
Yep. And then the dogs are based on his own dogs. So Bingo and Angie. And they spend a lot of time chewing the carpet and hooking around his own desk when he's trying to do things. So in many respects, it's almost a self-portrait of Zebra. I approve. There's the classic old-timer, the old GW Ogre Shaman. That's a great fucking miniature. Beautiful.
Isn't the red part of the miniature? I guess not, is it?
No, the rat is a plastic rat from the old Warhammer Quest sprue.
Did you read that in the text, or is this some kind of weird magic of yours knowing where everything's coming from?
The dogs, Ollie and Angie, or sorry, not Bingo and Angie, came from the text. Ollie was his previous one. The rat is just because I spend a lot of time with GW things. Look, another GW Samurai Ogre! Samurai Ogre!
I seem to remember them. They were ancient, even in the before times.
They weren't ancient. They were, late 80s. Get a big page full of ogres. There's Scrag the Slaughterer. Not like that fat fuck they have as a model now, but proper Scrag in his black armor, who I have in a box over there waiting to join my ogres as Grokkamagok. Sorry. Because I think if anybody's going to leave my ogre army for King's of War, it's going to be Scrag.
Please tell me that this
No, it's hand-painted.
is a transfer.
Nah. Could tell you that, but I'd be lying to you.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Oh, I know that song. Is that a Swede?
Oh, some girl he sings.
Yes.
Wasn't it Bangles? No, it wasn't Bangles.
No, it's definitely a Swede. Anna Ternheim? Is that it?
Beats me.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Why the heck does OBS welcome me to the chat room again?
Because OBS is sorted for Cheese Whiz.
Did it just kick me out? Fleetwood Mac? Okay.
They're all going Fleetwood Mac. See, based on the way he was singing, Tell Me Lies, Tell Me Sweet Little Lies, it sounds more like Anna Ternheim.
So you're saying I've got a singing voice?
I'm going to say...
Sometimes it's better to say nothing.
I'm going to say I'm probably...
Mayhaps? Maybe?
I mean, beyond the fact that Fleetwood Mac is a band that Jeremy Clarkson likes, I couldn't tell you anything more about them. However, there is Tell Me Lies by Anna Ternheim. So
There's so
just throw that one in.
Interesting miniatures in this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've not been here with you. Well,
No.
see, this is the problem. I get 200 odd updates on projects a week, and when I haven't been here in a while, it goes up substantially, and I can't tell what you've seen and what you haven't seen.
No, that's not the one I'm looking for.
It's
That's... Let's see if this... Yep, it's Fleetwood Mac. And demonetized. A dragon. What's he sitting on?
Ba, 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 ba.
That's not a
Well,
horde,
we
that's
couldn't hear
just
it
a
anyway.
chat.
It might not be a horde yet. Everybody's got to start a horde somewhere.
That's true.
Hordes don't just, grow on trees these days. You
Speaking
kids.
of hordes and people needing to start them, what was your first miniature, Jerry? Do you remember?
Fuck no. It was something winged and chaosy. I remember that because the wings ended up being repurposed on the Chaos Sorcerer at one stage. I've fucking no idea. It's not here anyway, I'll tell you that. I don't have any of my original miniatures. One of my friends at one point showed up with a couple of fucking Crimson Fists I painted from the original Rogue Trader box. I was like, where the fuck did you get those? Obviously from me at some point, but I can't remember giving them to you.
Those are my first miniatures.
Oh, look at you, plastic, so shiny. See, my cousin was into Dungeons and Dragons, and he had just a whole shelf full of lead miniatures. So I came via the medium of RPGs and lead.
The first miniatures I
didn't see
actually...
a plastic model till I was already a man.
The first miniatures I remember seeing
Oh,
were some
actually,
mithril
Taurus is
miniatures.
And we've already mentioned it in this. Enamel painted Airfix models. My first model I think I ever made was possibly a Lancaster.
Yeah, but I wasn't
With
talking
my
about
dad.
models, I was talking about miniatures.
All right, in that case, yeah. Something chaosy.
Yeah.
Maybe the winged snake, Quetzalcoatl.
If we're
like that.
talking about models, I'm trying to remember. It could possibly be some weird airplane. I think it was actually the space shuttle.
Wow, that is a weird airplane.
Yeah, and
Many
it's
people would say it's not an airplane.
long since gone.
Tommy Lee Jones said it was a flying brick.
And who am I to argue with Tommy Lee Jones?
Well, nobody, clearly.
Yeah, but I like these miniatures. They just scream.
I mean, they almost scream Golden Button.
Almost, but not quite yet.
I don't know.
I'm guessing
I've got to pick them tonight.
as soon as he's adding dwarves,
Oh, I own that.
Ben will be all over them.
Yeah, Ben's not back till next week. I own that dwarf as well, actually, and that necromancer.
I
own
really
that.
I really like the fact that there's a 40k transfer on a fantasy figure and it just
why
fits.
Why the fuck not? Why wouldn't you?
He
There's one on
literally
the back as
winged
well. If you find the full, there's like a montage of close-ups of the sword and the back and the cloak for that model.
Oh god, yeah, I see.
And there's a couple of Imperial Eagles on the back. There you go. See, if you've got the transfer sitting around doing fuck all. I have some Bretonian ones I was going to use and then realised I could sell them at like £15 a sheet on Fleabay.
Oh god.
That would require me working out how Fleabay works to sell stuff I've only ever bought.
Do transfers ever go bad?
Yes. Yes, they do. But people still buy them. And in that case, you pay your money and take your chances. Because I've used transfers and some have come off the sheet perfectly. Like they haven't aged a day, and other ones have just fragmented like crackle paste into a million bits. There's the floating wizard of the air. I love that model. Tim Prow's a bastard.
Why?
Because he sculpts all these things and I haven't bought them yet. He's about to sculpt more things and I haven't bought any of them yet either.
Wow, you're a terrible person.
I am. He also used to run Imperial Guard way back in the day.
Oh, that makes him an even worse person then.
Oh no, he's grand. At least he wasn't playing Space Marines. I think a couple of Tim Proud Treadhead articles in White Dwarf may have coloured my Imperial Guard army for several years. God bless his cotton socks. Also has a cat, but none of those cats have got bagpuss-like stripes on them either. I've heard you can put transfers in a window to de-yellowfy them, Tauros, although I've never tried it. But I have used some yellow transfers, and that yellow is like a layer on top. And when you soak them, you can actually brush that yellow crap off and be left with a normal transfer underneath. So I don't know what it is that does that to the old water slides, but it's not a major issue.
No, that's an interesting one.
Yeah. It's only because I had to use some and it was like, oh, I could physically push the yellow off the top once they were wet and starting to soak in. At some point I will stick a few in the window. Apparently direct sunlight will remove that yellowing. So, curious. Is you glad? Oh, is that we're almost time to go? Is that what you're telling me? Really glue. There is a.
You think
the people who make Microsol, Microscale Industries do a liquid decal film that you can use to make new transfers, but also to fix old transfers if they're starting to break or fragment. I would advise you to put it on with an airbrush because it's very gelatinous and you can see the brush lines in it if you brush it on. I'm not sure what it is. It's very thick. It's like a glycerin almost thickness. It's unusual. I got it to make some transfers and then I never really used it. I ended up just using a regular varnish instead. Didn't really see the point for their liquid decal film, but I have it here in case I need to restore any old fuck transfers. Someday I may use some. I need to finish a model though before I can use a transfer on it, and that's rare. So
yeah, this is a long-going project.
Yeah, I can't believe I haven't brought you here before.
No, you didn't.
This isn't my fault. You need to tell me that you want to see other things out of my list of infinite projects that I follow. I might just go through someday and delete everybody's project that I don't follow, and then that would make life much easier.
Also, it would make the system much more responsive.
Oh yeah, totally, 100% worth it.
Wow, the project system is so fast. What did you do? I deleted 80%.
Yeah, anything that said 40k in the title, it went straight away. Any fantasy miniature or round base, they
In
got
the
topped.
bin.
Gotta be cruel to be kind sometimes. Gotta be cruel to be kind. But
Oh, we've reached the end.
yes, you have.
Oh god. I don't think my visual receptors could have taken much more.
There's Rumbly 80L. Hello.
Is it?
You may or may not be pleased to know
Hello, Rumbly.
I'm stealing your paint schemes for Bot Wars. In
Don't
fact,
don't say that word again.
There's 3 or 4 unboxings coming for Bot Wars because Anthony sent a couple of factions up to us on the grounds that I would unbox them, paint them, and then play some games on camera to allow people to bask in the joyous glow that is Bot War across the world.
Die!
So I've got Atlanticans. I've got the I can't remember. It's Neretican, the Deceiver Army deal that has the Sins in it, who just look like bot versions of the GW Chaos Demons. It's great.
Has Lloyd
Seeing Nurgle as a transformer is fucking amazing.
has Lloyd jumped onto it now, or is he just?
Lloyd doesn't know yet. It's best not to tell Lloyd because he just get confused by trains or something. So.
Isn't there a train transforming thing about?
Yeah, oh yeah, probably. Oh, and the other one is the democracy. He sent through there's like a pack of democracy guys that's filled with like Big Trouble in Little China, the Pork Chop Express. Only it's a flying version and stuff like that. I can't remember. It's like Neo Geo's fucking Heroes or something. It's got a really weird name, but there's a lot of flying cars and stuff, and it's great.
I think the weird naming scheme is what keeps him off the radar from the likes of Hasbro.
Everything in there, while it's very close to Hasbro and G.I. Joe and Mask and all those things, they are different enough that they won't run afoul of it.
But I'm just saying, if he would
particular about that.
If he would use names that would even be more similar to things like...
Oh, well, yeah. At that point, if you start naming shit, Octopus Prime, and then going, he's not a transformer, but he's a big bot who's a truck, then at that point somebody is going to come along with a massive cease and desist and fuck you.
Yeah.
A train combiner would be amazing. The Atlanticans are sitting in the hall at the moment. I built them over the weekend. I've got to film the second half of the unboxing and then prime the bastards. Get right in there.
The Back of the Future train. Yeah, that would be an interesting project.
I've got one I'm keeping in reserve for any time where Lloyd just starts talking at me when I need to do other things, which is the guy who does YouTubey things. He's got a name, Tom something. He went to Germany recently to play on a train set, and the German rail network still teaches their signal men how to change the signals. There's 3 different types. There's the old school stand in a box somewhere and pull fucking levers to change the signal points, and then there's like a 1960s to 1980s relay system. So it's electronic, and then there's the modern computer system. But all of them are wired to a massive railway set. So when you're pulling the levers in the room, when they're teaching you how to do it, the actual trains go round and follow it, so that the people being taught aren't just going, turn to book 1. Okay, here's the signal points.
No, learning by doing.
Yeah, they actually teach them on things that are all wired into a massive train set. I'm just going, this is fucking amazing. So next time I need to, it's the equivalent of Krieger throwing a smoke bomb and running off. Whenever I need to get away from Lloyd, I'll just go, train! Fucking away. Tom Scott, that's him. Jamascat, that's the one. He did it. He did it fairly recently. So,
I think if Lloyd could have the opportunity to go in there, he would go just explode.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, it
Better bring
They'll be cleaning them off the walls.
better bring spare pants for
Yeah.
changing trousers.
Just imagine this missus having to hold the towel up in front of him. Apologising to the German. Actually, she wouldn't be apologising to the Germans. She's Polish. She'd be swearing at the Germans. You did this!
Yeah,
Why we can't have nice things.
and to be fair, they would deserve it.
Anyway, shall we? We've only a couple left to do.
Okay. So the next is
And then I'll type the script at half
everybody is awake again.
Drink.
So Lena has done things again.
Yep. Well, 6 things. Mostly painted horses. Painted helmets the wrong colour. I kind of blame myself on that one.
You know, anytime I see these Victrix bags,
Yes.
I want more. I want more companies to do more sprues like that. Don't go mental on single models. Make me buy huge amounts of armies.
To be fair, Victrix are getting better. They don't. Not everything is a score or more, you know. But they started with like 50s or 60s in the bags, and now they're sort of, some of those things come out and they're like 30 in a bag, which is possibly more reasonable. I will say, when they try and cram 60 into one of those bags, breakages happen on some of the sprues, which I'm less than impressed about. But there's normally enough bits that you can get round it.
But how much is one of those bags?
For one of the big fuck off 61 bags,
Yeah.
I think it'd be like 30 quid, I think.
Yeah, so we're talking 50p for a miniature.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous compared to...
Like, oh, Vikings, tell me how much a Viking bag is. £38 for a Viking bag, and there's 60 in that.
And now imagine a company doing that for sci-fi armies.
Oh, yeah, no, see, that's your problem. There is always an increase for fantasy and sci-fi, because either you're having to pay for an IP, or it's your own IP, and therefore you have to make your money back. So historics are always cheaper. That's why historics are always better. Isn't that right, Steve? Say yes, Paul.
Yeah, but you know, I remember roughly 20 years ago,
Yeah.
when Games
remember
Workshop
20 years
started
ago.
re-releasing second edition 40k stuff in these small boxes.
Yes.
They were dirt cheap. And just imagine having a big box of these
They
old
were
sprues.
They were a $5 for
8 miniatures or more.
was it like 8 or
Yeah,
10
8
depending on the sprue? I think it
8
was.
Chaos Marines or
Yeah.
10 Goblins, and that's the kind of mass market you want to go. That's an impulse
Yeah,
buy
War
you're
Games Atlantic
getting.
are probably your best bet for cheap sci-fi.
But I'm not seeing these in stores hanging on shelves, just being like the little green toy soldiers from way back when.
I think, and that comes down to footage, floor space. If you've got a 4 foot or 1 meter section of stuff, you're getting, depending on the height of the racking, let's say you get 4 wide, and then you've got maybe a drop of 3, so you've got 12 different products on that, and maybe you're only getting 4 or 5 bags on each thing. But that's a meter footage, and are you going to sell those in a certain amount of time? Whereas they can just stick a rake of Space Marines on there and have more, and they'll be 3 times the price. Well, probably more than 3 times the price.
Yeah, and the margin is even bigger.
But they'll sell them like nobody's business.
I
But
mean,
that is always the problem for everybody.
I understand why shops don't do it, but I don't understand why there isn't a company
Companies.
doing something similar, like do a generic space soldier thing.
Cannon fodder coming from War Games Atlantic soon. Yeah, some of the arms are a bit odd. I seen something that they teased the other day, Jam, and I can't be certain, but it might be one of their, you know, the way they do the little half sprues. It may be additional weapon arms for the cannon fodder on a half sprue. I'm not sure what it is yet. Well, yeah, okay. Way to drag us back. Anyway, having a look at some noble Celt Gaulish cavalry. I've noticed that that guy on the left's mustache isn't done, and I think the guy in the middle hasn't. I don't think any of these have got. The gingers have got their mustaches painted. The other ones don't look like they're painted. Did you forget to do the mustaches, Lena? I'll just sit and wait for a response.
Or maybe that they are very old riders and they're just grey-haired.
Well. Yeah, but the guy with the black hair on the brown horse, third from the right, looks like he has a very flesh-coloured mustache, both front and side. I think you forgot to do that one. I'm not saying you should definitely break the debt all out and just start again. But
just don't correct mistakes, just redo everything.
We'll say while we're here, though, there is a mistake you need to correct. I was painting up my Celts for a potential Two Fat Lordies video playthrough thing. So I had to hammer the fuckers out at a rate of knots, and I didn't have time to go back. So I haven't done any brass or bronze work on mine at all. The helmets for those Gauls should all be a nice, lovely bronze. They shouldn't be steel coloured. Also, it would add a bit more colour to your palette because they're all very grey at the moment. Think how much nicer they'd be with a nice, shiny, golden-esque head on them. It'd be good.
Yeah. I also like the transfers she's using for the shields.
Yeah, well, that's Little Big Man Studios. What can I say? It's
Though
good.
One or two of these almost look too detailed and crisp.
Yeah, but not in that amount. What? Sorry, who? Details too crisp. Crispy details.
Yeah, I'm really having a hard time trying to phrase that. The amount of detail you have on the miniature just goes down to a certain degree, but the printed decals go further, so they look a wee bit out of place.
Oh, you think there's too much detail on the transfers?
Oh,
they're too stark in comparison to the paint job.
Yes,
you think Lena's done a shit paint job, and it's been shown up by the transfers. Oh, you heard it here first. Did you hear that?
Oh God,
Lena?
Jerry.
Tim says you're painting shit, and it's accentuated by the transfers. They just show off how shit your painting is. Now he's giving you the finger. This German's a fucker, isn't he? Ah.
Oh God. If I would be able to get up the
What a terrible bastard.
Get up out of this chair, I would show you my unshaven bum.
That is true. He has. He's got an unshaven bum. Oh well, that would work. Break out the brains, yeah. Good times. Shall we have a look at our last?
Why isn't my button not working?
I have no idea. Why isn't your button working?
Was
that our last then? Can we not go any further? If you peak too soon, are you using the battery in something?
Yeah, something along those lines. No, I think the brain matter base just stopped working. I need to check my tech. So, the last project for today is by Longfellow.
Could be, or could be Iron Kello.
Could
Nobody
be
knows.
As well. What does it say? I don't know. Don't care. Who gives a bloody So, fantasy range, Raiders of Eran.
Correctamundo. So, as many people have asked in the past, why is there no Celtic, Irish fantasy games? It's a rich mythology.
Too rich to handle.
Better in many respects than, Roman, Greek, or Scandinavian. And yet it gets left to one side. Nobody really knows anything about it, so he's decided, fuck you all. I'm going to write my own game. It's
Some
gonna have
of the
blackjack and
miniatures look
hookers.
hauntingly familiar.
Hola, Mac. In this case, the hauntingly
got one.
familiar things are part of his Fomorian. So people who live under the waves, terrible fish bastards. And he's using a whole host of things for it. I particularly like the one-leg, one-eyed, one-armed nipple monster hopping its way amongst its fishy friends.
I imagine having that coming at you on the battlefield is so disturbingly weird.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it would fuck people right up.
And does
the
he
way
have
to do
an
it.
eyeball in his fist, or what is it?
I'm not going to ask what is in his fist. He's an eyeball above his nose, I'll give you that. The days. Fucking classic. Anyway.
Oh, God!
No, not oh god. That was amazing. And you know it was fucking amazing. Anyway. Miniature-wise, collected from a hodgepodge of places to whatever sort of fits the bill for the various factions that are being put together. This is very much mythological. None of these people would look like this or do anything like that when it comes to peoples. But
The base coloring is
it's
eye straining.
I have no problem with the base. It's a good way of identifying who's in what unit. But there is actually a 25-page rulebook, and there's also an app, because it's app-driven, which obviously we cannot condone in all good conscience. But they're using the app to mimic certain things. So the Book of Invasions have the various people in Ireland, and some of them react quicker than others. So the app tells you sort of how long you have, which is an interesting concept. That not everybody can do the same at the same time in a war game. I wouldn't use an app for it, but that's because I could barely use an app. But the rules are quite interesting, and even if you're not keen on the rule set / app bit, there's quite a bit of detail has gone into the actual factions, pulling forth stuff from the Book of Invasions to sort of set it up. It depends. Sometimes it's
I
heading up
would
the
really
moors with
like
a carry out.
to have an app telling me how to pronounce some of these names.
Well, you can get one if you want. Irish is much easier than English, so in that respect, it's good.
In theory, I want to believe you. In practice, I know my brain is so rusted in. I can't even learn new rules for games, so
Well,
learning a
it's
new
one of those
language.
Well, you don't. I mean, it's not even learning a language. It's letters are pronounced like letters are pronounced, and combinations of letters are pronounced, and they never change. So it's not like cough, lock, borough, which all have the same OUGH ending, but they're pronounced entirely differently. There are no silent letters in Irish. There are no, when you know what way the letters are pronounced, they never change. There's no fucking around like you get in English, where
So
you get that poem with nonsense in it.
just
and people going,
highlighting
"Good
this
luck."
here name. If I would try to pronounce that, it would probably give people ears bleed.
I wouldn't worry. Most people wouldn't know. My brother will. He'll fucking cut you, but only after he's cut me.
So, Tuatha the Hunter is probably very wrong.
Yeah, but to be fair, whenever I pronounce it Tuatha, he gets really fucked off as well because it's not pronounced that way there. But I work in the principle I'm tone deaf for languages, so I don't care. Can't pronounce Irish, can't pronounce German, can't pronounce Swedish.
Well, to be fair, and
multi-sinister.
without creeping up your rear end, when you're using German, you're way better than most people trying to pretend to be speaking German.
Yeah, but I had 5 years of a Scottish woman screaming at me. Frau Fraser.
This is
Just imagine I'm standing over you with a big stick.
This is sounding so weird. An Irish person learning German from a Scottish
Scot.
woman screaming.
Yep.
Find the problem.
There you go. Be impressed that my pronunciation comes anywhere fucking close in some regards. And I'm trying to remember where she learned it from, because she told us one time. I want to say she learned it from somebody who's from Bavaria. So whenever
Which
she was
isn't
teaching us
German
stuff,
at all.
whenever she was teaching us stuff, the inflection and the accent that she would have, a lot of people would say, you sound like you're from that region. And you're going, well, there you. Anyway, I digress.
It's the same when you're looking at English teachers here. Most of them are getting their knowledge from courses teaching straight Oxford English. And then you've got some people that have relatives
Learned
or
it from the Police Academy movies.
going somewhere in the furthest region of the United Kingdom, and you're not understanding a word they're saying.
It's one way of doing it. Don't worry, you can visit lots of. There are places in the fucking British Isles I visit, and I couldn't understand what the fuck they were saying either. They're speaking English.
If I leave,
Theoretically.
if I leave town and go on about 30 kilometers west, I'm in the middle of Lower Saxony.
Oh no.
The middle slap bang of Northern Frisia. If I find somebody
Oh, where the
speaking
cows come from.
Plattdeutsch, you're not understanding a thing.
Good. Ah, Newgie. Newgie's great. Is that why Steve Bruce is still at Newcastle? Because nobody can understand, or he can't understand whenever people are telling him to pack his bags and get the fuck out of town. He's actually been sacked for months now, but he still turns up every week to training and sends them off to do the filming, because that'd be great. Sorry, a little bit of football.
No worries. I'm surprised it taken you so long to get back to the footy.
I was very good up until now. It was Demon Sub. Anyway, yeah, Ion Kilo or Locken, whatever it is. Interesting little 25-page rulebook. Interesting ideas behind it. If people fancy playing a simple fantasy game and don't mind apps, feedback is welcome. And if you don't give a shit but fancy having a quick sort of bluffer's guide to Irish mythology, the first sort of 5 pages there are like very bullet pointy, like half-page sort of ideas of the various people who moved into Ireland during the Book of Invasions, which was made up by a monk in the 11th century because he was bored.
I think there was something about snakes.
Oh, the snakes came later. Snakes came later. That was when Paddy came back.
So snakes and flags.
Snakes and flags.
Sounds like a breakfast cereal.
Could be that. That's part of a balanced breakfast. Your Lucky Charms will contain flags and snakes. They're tragically suspicious.
Got all your vitamins, A, B, C, D. Oh, you know that one German company that does very nasty chemicals, don't you?
All that's in my head right now is Cyclone.
No, that's a chemical. I'm talking about a company.
Oh, sure, yeah. I'm sure somebody made that.
So,
does anybody admit to it?
No, there's this... I don't know what the abbreviation stands for. It's BASF.
Right, okay.
So you're going, oh, it's got all your vitamins in it. BASF.
What more do you want? C would be nice. Bit of C.
Yeah, but as far as I can tell, C doesn't have a very long shelf life, so you need to get it into your system rather quickly.
Hammer in fast.
Yes, BASF did make cassette tapes.
Not to be confused with Bosk, who was a Trandoshian scumbag.
Also, you spelled him with 2 Ks. And I'm a little happy bugger here because I just thought I was out of beer, but I
Book about
still
the
have
Hound
half
of
a can.
Ulster called On Raven's Wing. Oh, that sounds interesting. Was it? Now I'm going to use the phrase historical, even though I know it's about myth. in that there is I want to say Canadian author called Morgan Llewellyn, who wrote a series of fiction, but would tie the fiction to myth. And also I'm going to say Morgan is a she. I think she did the Ulster Cycle and a few of the other Gaelic myths as fiction, and they were really interesting because it was written as fiction, but as more historically accurate fiction. So when you got things like the Salmon of Knowledge, which, if you're unaware, there was a guy fishing for a salmon for years, and it was the salmon that contained all the knowledge of the world. When he caught it, he would eat it and would gain all the knowledge. And Finn, I think it was Finn, came to help him, caught it finally, and he went, I don't want to burn it, you look after it while I have a nap. So the gold man has a wee nap, and the guy's cooking the salmon, and a blister comes up and he doesn't want to ruin it. So he presses the blister down with his thumb, and he gets a bit of scale on his thing, and then he eats it, and he gains all the knowledge instead. That's the sort of the myth side. In Morgan's book, he had a habit, the heroic character had a habit of sticking his thumb in his mouth when he was thinking. And somebody called him on it. And instead of going, I'm just sucking my thumb, he made up this big, elaborate bullshit story about the Salmon of Knowledge. And whenever he needed to come up with an answer, he would suck his thumb, because that's where the blister was originally transferred the scales. And the book's like that. You know, it's like a sharp book in ancient Ireland, but with lots of bullshit thrown in to make up for the myth part, because there's not actually any mythology going on. They're very good.
I just read today on, I think it was a 9gag of all things, that
Right.
the myth of the sword and the stone could be a translation error or a lazy bard.
Both make sense. I mean, we've got the glass slipper for Cinderella. So.
Yeah, because the word for stone was almost the same as from a Saxon, so he could have pulled the sword from a Saxon, and not from a stone.
Nice.
Which would make much more sense, pulling a sword from a Saxon.
Sure. Like a fur slipper makes more sense than a glass one.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And
It's
Jesus
weird
didn't
stuff.
walk on water, but along the water. I really wonder how much of our history is should be attributed
on
to
Raven's Wings is
translation
by Morgan
errors.
Yeah, I haven't read that, but now I want to read that. Or I have read that, and that's where the story of the Salmon of Knowledge comes from, and I've just forgotten the name of the book because it's been fucking forever since I read Morgan's stuff. But now I'm going to have to go back and reread these things. Jesus, relive my wasted youth. This is like Lloyd. Justin was talking about Mad Dog 2020 today, and I'm going, fuck, I've not had that since I was about 12 or 13.
What's Mad Dog 2020?
It was a flavored vodka.
Oh.
It was my drink of choice when I was a kid. But apparently they've started selling it again. I'm going, really? Fuck.
But the chances are very high it's going to be pretty different from what you remember.
Yeah, he was saying it's like 17%. It's kind of like a fucking alcohol poppy fruit drink type thing. I'm going, in the old days it was just flavored vodka. It was fucking,
It's just like with some ice cream flavors they had in the 80s and then had abandoned because of ingredients. And then they brought up again in the late 2000s, and they were just named the same, looked the same, tasted completely different.
Like rum and raisin?
No, there was an ice cream that's called Brown Bear. It has a caramel center, which definitely tasted different when I ate them way back when. Also, let's not talk about wine.
Yes, that's It's the way to do it. Screw cap wine is the finest. Yeah. There's a whole thing about cork wines recently, and about how it's, is it still perceived as a sign of quality? The problem is, about 7 years ago, corks are produced in a part of I think it's Spain. It might be Portugal as well, but
I think
let's say
Portugal.
Spain. But they couldn't keep up with production because of the massive increase in wine drinking, and that's why screw caps came over. And it's not even a case of one is better than the other. It's just like can't keep up with fucking production these days, which is good because it should leave more cork bark for us for modelling. And I'm not saying that I couldn't give a shit if it was a screwed cap or not on my wine, as long as I can get my hands on bark when I want to build some fucking mountains.
Yeah, and the amount of wine bottles going with artificial cork has ever increased, as far as I can tell. Not like that I give a shit what wine is bottled in.
Oh no, not when you're drinking it from a bag. I imagine just with the little tap there, Tim.
I'm
It's
drinking.
like a fucking Capri Sun for adults. You just stick a straw on the top of it.
I drink a lot of things, but I'm not touching wine.
Gorham's just caught up with me. See, I'm not the only one thinking that. Fucking box of Hock, please. £4 for 2 litres or whatever it is. Great. Smashing.
Now, if I want to drink myself senseless on a budget, I'd drink something else.
Maths.
I probably would get myself some very, very cheap vodka and make some cocktails.
I mean, that's
No.
cheap as fuck. Now, key is you've got to hammer it back because you don't want to taste it.
That's how I was talking.
It doesn't give you a percentage on it, unfortunately. Which is a
Get
shame.
yourself some cheap vodka, get yourself some apricot brandy, and mix it up with juice, and you'll get yourself a very nice cocktail that knocks you down very much.
Wine in a box, it's no worse than wine in a bottle.
It's wine. It's rotten.
At that price point, it's not like the 80s when wine in a box was fucking terrible.
And could potentially contain glycol.
Yeah, none of those wines are made to be laid down. They're all made to be drunk within 3 years of bottling. Likewise, the one in the bag as well. So it's it's all good. Merrydown. I know they make cider. They do wine as well. It's all getting very confusing now. There's Buckfast being mentioned. Oh,
maybe we should plan for the 100th episode and do a in-depth investigation on different kinds of alcohol.
Oh, that all sounds great. When's the 100th episode?
In 20 episodes. So
right.
20 weeks.
20 weeks?
Yes.
That's like fucking,
5 months.
I was going to say that's like March or something. Am I close?
Possibly. I'm not going to look
81
that up
days
now.
to Christmas. I know that.
Oh God! Please don't remind me.
Just saying, our government's giving us free money.
Free money.
Free money. Everybody gets £100.
What miniature are you going to buy with that?
Buy a fucking turkey and a ham for Christmas is probably what I'll throw. I spend a fucking fortune on Christmas dinner for the family every year, and none of the bastards ever chip in, pricks. So Space Truckers is on Amazon. Yeah, I've seen that for a little while. It's not content. It's a good film, Jamascut, but it's not a contender for the greatest movie ever made, which is amazing.
Space Truckers.
However,
was that with what's his face?
Speedman, Dennis Hopper.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Is that the one? Oh, yeah. I like that.
What I did find out today, because I was filming a Let's Play for Damnation, the Gothic game, which is a remake / up-to-dating of an ancient game. And I was talking to the guy who's running the Kickstarter yesterday, Chris, and the game is about villains trapped in hell who wake up every day in Dracula's castle and get murdered to death, and then their minds are wiped and they wake up again as they go through this perpetual hell. The game was written by this bloke in the 60s, although it wasn't published until like the 80s. However, it's the only game he's written, but he's written a load of fucking films and plays and directed stuff, including the Blood on Satan's Claw, the old Hammer classic, which is currently sitting on Amazon Prime. The guy who wrote that made this game in the 60s. I'm going, this is just fucking amazing. Did he what? Because I was looking at it, because it's very similar in sort of aesthetic and layout to the Hungarian film Black Sunday or The Mask of Satan, which is a great, if you've never seen them, they are, well, say them, that, because it's one film with two names. It's a classic black and white horror film. But now I've got to go back and rewatch Blood on Satan's Claw because it's been so long, and see if I can pick up any little sort of hints about how he was designing his board game at the time.
Speaking of Kickstarters, I very much laughed at the Kickstarter where the documentary on wargaming, and the pictures of Warren and Lloyd look a bit edited.
But they're not edited. They were filmed when he was doing the Kickstarter for that.
Yeah.
So essentially, oh, look at the dust on that fucker. Essentially, he filmed a ton of stuff. I seen somebody, I can't remember who it was, somebody in the Discord went, I'd much prefer if they just put it together into one film rather than break up into episodes.
Yeah.
He did it already. He did that. And a lot of people who've seen this went, I'd much rather have just seen the full thing with Rick Priestley. Not just the fragments of Rick Priestley we got throughout this.
So basically,
essentially what he's gone back, he's going back and all that footage that never got shown and making them into a Perry Brothers episode or a Rick Priestley episode, which makes sense because some of the stuff in this isn't great. As far as a documentary goes, it's all right, but it doesn't have a real coherent theme. It kind of just jumps around a lot. And I see what he was trying to do, but there wasn't a real vision for the story he was trying to tell. But he's got a fuckload of footage from mini wargaming and on tabletop. So there could be an episode where he's talking about content providers in the digital age and does just on mini wargaming and OTT. But it was filmed when they were still Beasts of War.
well, because the picture says on tabletop, which is
because it's there's no point in the same way there's no point in putting companies that are no longer there. It makes sense to have the current one because otherwise people won't know. But the Rick Priestley one should be interesting because there was a little teaser at the end, like a fucking Marvel. But at the end of the credits, where
watch out for our next Kickstarter.
No, not exactly. Rick mentioned the fact that he had worked out the end times for Warhammer in advance, and he had a story he wanted to tell, and the first part of that was in 4.
Oh god, that did so good.
That's all right. It's just the whatchamajig corrugator on the floor. The Termican. So this was going to be the start of his end time story with the rise of chaos, and there were going to be 4 of these books which told a fucking amazing story. And then GW shit-canned them and mothballed this. And then they brought out their own end times, which was a bit half-assed and mostly fucked people off. And he said, I was going to do this, and this. And they went, what was your story going to be like in comparison to the end times? And he went, well, and it went to black. And there was a little ... Find out what Rick said next time, blah, blah, blah.
Horrible cliffhangers.
So potentially there could be some really interesting stuff on the Rick Priestley one that I want to see. Because I really want to know what his vision for... Because presumably he wouldn't have went, fuck all, you can't. I hate you. I don't want you playing my game. He may have ended the Warhammer world as we knew it, but in a fashion that didn't alienate the entire fan base. So I'm really fascinated to see what his version would have been if he was allowed, because the whole setup was that was one of the sons. Obviously, they didn't do any of that when they hit the end times, which I was going to say the end times are there, but I took them away from there. That's now going to be the Genesis. The end times have been relegated to another shelf far the fuck away. I never even got around to reading the last 2 books of that. I couldn't even be bothered by that stage. Fuck them. But yeah, so there might be some interesting things in there if he gets funding for it, because there was a lot of stuff filmed with a lot of people.
Well,
that just
if he has already filmed that, why does he need funding?
Because he needs to pay an editor to edit it, a company to render the film viewable, a sound technician to do all the sound bettings on it. Essentially, he needs to produce the film.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, that makes it even harder to ignore that Kickstarter now, because it's not cheap.
It's not. It's 30 grand. If you look back at the previous one he did, actually the previous 2 it took to get the miniature war game and the movie out.
Yeah,
he goes through about what he needed to do in it, and
I meant cheap in the way of what you need to shell out for having the complete set. I think it was about £60.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things. I mean, I don't care what OTT or mini wargaming talk about, quite frankly.
It's interesting scaling about. You get 1 episode, 3 episodes, or you can go in for the complete package.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting way.
Yeah. I mean, in many respects, because people look at because they look at it and say an episode, but then have you seen the runtime for the episodes?
No, I didn't.
1 hour to 150 minutes per episode, depending.
So 1 to 2 hours closely. That's a
well,
lot.
1 to 2.5 hours or 2 hours and 20 minutes. You know, they are an episode. It's not a half-hour thing being shot forth.
Okay,
the
so
runtimes they're more or less films in and of themselves, but it would be Rick Priestley the film, on tabletop of the film,
Perry's the film.
yeah, Perry's the film. I mean, I may be tempted to go for it for Perry, and it'd be weird if he funds. It'd be amusing to see how many people get it, because I imagine it would be like Perry, Rick Priestley, Henry Hyde. Don't care about the other cunts. Oh, fuck all these people. Fuck all y'all.
Ben the movie.
Ben the film would be good. Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it comes down to what people said at the time, and what Rick was none too circumspect in what he was saying about GW at that stage. But I think at that point he'd been out the door for about 3 years, so maybe the scab was still a little raw on that one.
You think he might
fuck off out of this place?
You think he might
You bald
use
fuck.
words that aren't for the non-adult?
No, because it's Rick. I imagine at the end of the day he was still relatively house trained, where he's not going to just go, I hate all of these turnbirds and
NDAs
cracks.
still apply.
Oh no, it's not. Well, I can't imagine the NDAs meant anything to him at all, but I can't imagine him going, Mark Wells is a gobshite. I seen him getting a blowjob from a 13-year-old out the back. Yeah, I can't imagine he said anything like that.
And with that happy thought of...
Mark
Oh,
Wells
God,
getting a blowjob from a 13-year-old? You're a sick fuck.
Oh God. I'm just going to say thank you everybody for watching. Hi Lena, sorry for seeing all this. We will see you
you're
again
not at all. Bronze.
next
Fucking
week.
bronze their helmets.
Oh God, please get the fuck off my lawn, people. Bye.